Just when I'm starting to feel like, hey, maybe Sony's got the right idea with this. The Spider-Man Noir trailer looks great. The idea of an animated Venom movie could be very cool. Moving forward with that Spider-Punk show could be very cool. But in not even a week, Sony, you had to go on a podcast and burn all that goodwill by saying you're gonna maybe do the bad movies again?
You serious?
Listen, I like Sony. I love Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse. Those two movies are great. I think over my lifetime, I've seen a lot of Spider-Man movies, and I have liked a lot of those movies. But like the last couple of years have been messy. Sure, Venom 1 was successful. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, not quite as successful, but still it was okay. Then you have this weird run. We get Venom: The Last Dance, first of all, which I think is almost certainly the worst Venom movie. Also, it did not get a good reception from critics or audiences. But then you make this Morbius movie whose only two contributions to pop culture were the "It's Morbin Time" meme and the fact that the internet tricked you into releasing it again. But then you had Madame Web, which was a fascinating movie, the same way that like Frankenstein is a fascinating person. And then you ended it all with an origin story about Kraven the Hunter that nobody watched. And like that for me was the SPUMC, SPUMC, Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel Characters. I know there have been other acronyms used for it, but SPUMC is the funniest, so we're going with that. But Sony, I assumed, and we all assumed, that that was it. That the experiment of the Spider-Man spin-off movies that don't actually have Spider-Man in them was done. And we're just gonna make movies that had a version of Spider-Man in them, like Spider-Man Noir, or Spider-Punk, or Spider-Gwen, or this animated Venom movie. And yes, I know Venom isn't Spider-Man, but it's close. And yet, Sony Pictures CEO and chairman Tom Rothman went on the Town podcast and was asked by Matt Belloni, where are we in the Spider-Man franchise? Not the animated Spider-Verse. Is the larger Spider-Verse dead? And Rothman said, no. To which Belloni asked, are you going back to those at some point? And Rothman said, yes. Belloni said, but it'll be a fresh reboot? Rothman said, yes. Belloni, new people? Rothman, yes, yes. And Rothman went on to say, scarcity has value. You got to have the audience miss you, which means we were talking about things that are not currently in development, or at least not currently in active development, like Spider-Man Noir, and apparently the Spider-Punk show, and apparently some sort of Spider-Gwen thing. And if you take MCU Spider-Man out of the picture, and all that stuff out, all you are left with is Venom, Morbius, Madame Web, and Kraven. Like, those are the movies he is talking about. Now, I am not a studio executive, although I have spent a lot of my time watching them do this specifically, talk about the future of a cinematic universe. And I believe the correct answer to this question, Tom Rothman, is you'll just have to wait and see. Or maybe, but it's probably going to look very different from what came before it. Because A, you don't want to make any promises and you don't want to exclude anything, right? So like, as long as you don't talk about absence, we don't know if you're talking about Spider-Man Noir, because that is something that's coming out. Maybe that'll be part of this bigger Spider-Man universe. And you definitely don't just say like, we're going to reboot it. There has to be at least a little bit of like acknowledgement that those movies all didn't work in the answer to this question. I'm sure Tom Rothman has acknowledged that a lot. I don't think he's out there living in a fantasy world where everybody thinks Kraven worked. Speaking of Kraven, my cat Mortimer is sitting on my lap right now and I'm petting him and he's gonna bite me soon because he is the true hunter of this house. So like, I think he has answered this question before, but Tom Rothman, every time someone asks you, what are you gonna do next with some of those Spider-Man characters? Are you going to reboot them? The answer has to say, we may, but it's not going to be like the last one. We have learned our lesson. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Domino's pizza commercial where you're like apologizing for Madame Web, but go in with, we're gonna work on a different strategy this time. Maybe if you watch some of our new stuff, watch Spider-Man Noir, watch Spider-Punk. Or another answer that is great, we're gonna take it one step at a time. We're working on a lot of projects now, stuff you're really gonna like, and that is our focus. We're not thinking about the next 5 and 10 years. This isn't the old Sony Spider-Man where we're gonna announce a Hypno Hustler movie and a Muerto movie. We're gonna focus on making great stuff, and sure, these can be connected to the larger Spider-Man universe. Of course they can, but that's not the point. That is the answer that I would say is the James Gunn answer right now. If you ask him about a DC thing, he's very clear, and I think this is because of how the DCEU fell apart. Is we have a very specific bunch of projects we're working on. I'm not spread thin, working on 15 different things. We have a couple of projects we're going to give all our attention to, and those are going to be good. And I think that other answer, they're like, wait and see. That's the Feige answer right now. If you asked him, like, what are we going to do with the X-Men after Secret Wars? He's like, I don't know. You'll have to find out. But Tom Rothman, I'm pretty sure we're not making another Madame Web movie, right? Like, we're not rebooting that. Obviously, it would be great if these movies had Spider-Man in it, but let's say you guys have decided you're going to make some movies with Spider-Man, but for whatever reason, you're going to make a lot of other movies that have Spider-Man characters, but not Spider-Man. I think there are quite a few characters with potential. Like, there are projects that I think Sony could announce today that it would just be like, oh, we're developing it, we're working on it, that I would be kind of excited about. I would be like, oh, that's gonna be good. That's something, it's weird they haven't done that yet, because that's a slam dunk of a story. But, and especially because Beyond the Spider-Verse was supposed to come out like a year ago or something like that, I think confidence in the Sony Spider-Man brand is at a low. Maybe the lowest since Amazing Spider-Man 2. And I think because of how the MCU Spider-Man is so clearly separate from all of this, any goodwill he brings doesn't count. Which means, and I think you're in a great spot for this, Sony, Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Punk, Spider-Gwen. That's the focus, that's what you talk about in interviews, and you make it very clear we're going to do something different. We're not just waiting for the sake of waiting to make people want it, because it doesn't matter how long you wait. Nobody's gonna be hyped to see the return of the Foreigner or the cop that Tyrese plays in Morbius that apparently has a robot arm or something, but they like cut it out of the movie, but you can see it in like commercials and I think a deleted scene. Like they're not Green Goblin or Dr. Octopus, but not like, ooh, who's the next one of those gonna be? Please be very clear. I hope this is true, Sony, because I'm not just telling you lie to us while you continue to develop movies that are going to be bad. Like, I hope this is what's happening and you're just communicating it poorly. You have to say like, yeah, we might be developing other things, but our focus right now is on Spider-Man Noir, Beyond the Spider-Verse, and this Spider-Punk thing in the Venom show and Spider-Gwen. But like things that the average nerd could explain to their parents, they go, oh yeah, I understand why that's a movie. It's Spider-Man, but he's a punk rocker, or it's Spider-Man, but it's his girlfriend that died. Like, yes. As opposed to like Kraven is a character you've never seen before. He's a hunter. He hunts Spider-Man, but this one doesn't know Spider-Man. Like that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, keep it simple and keep it mysterious. However, I am working on a video that'll be on NW Movies that might be my pitch for a couple of movies if you're looking for other things to do that I think are simple, easy to explain, and could be really fun, could push the Sony Spider-Man brand in new directions. And that video is going to come out eventually. But until then, Sony, just ride out these wins and play it cool. Speaking of cool, I watched this great video recently by Lindsay, who's one of my favorites, and she made a video about one of my favorite things, which is amusement parks. Now, I don't go to amusement parks. I used to when I was a kid, but I've not been to an amusement park in a very long time. However, I find them fascinating. I think they're an interesting snapshot of a culture. They're this weird and very unusual merging of art and technology. And when they flop big, and it's really interesting. And this video that Lindsay made is called Trash Disney Attraction Rebrands, and you can only watch it on this video's sponsor, Nebula. You guys have heard me talk about Nebula before. It is a subscription streaming service that I helped to create. A bunch of us video essayists, and I don't like call myself a content creator, but like content creators got together and were like, hey, these platforms we have to work with, they're great, but they have some problems. And the big one is we wanted to just make great videos, give them to you guys. We wanted to make a nice, clean, well-organized place where you can go to watch all of our videos. They all go up early, so every Nando V Movies video and Nando Cut video go up early. They're all ad-free. You can download them to your phone, which is a feature I don't hear nearly enough people talking about, but is incredibly useful. Like if you don't want to have to eat up all your data or deal with the Wi-Fi at the gym or something, download some videos, you'll have them with you. The videos on Nebula are all made by real people, and that didn't used to have to be a selling point, but now I think it might be the best selling point. There's also all kinds of cool videos you can only find on Nebula. Like Lindsay makes videos almost exclusively for Nebula. One of her most recent videos was about Bluey adults, and the one after that was about dash cam footage, so it really covers a pretty wide spectrum of things. Then you've got short films like Patrick Williams' Dinner Plan, or series like Maggie Mae Fish's Amy's Dead End Dreamhouse. And you have what we haven't like fully announced, but will be coming out sometime next year, our show Subliminal. It's our first like dramatic series. I wrote an episode. I think it's pretty good. I've seen parts of it now because it's like coming together and been edited and all that, and like it looks great. I can't wait for you guys to see it. If you want to support us, give us more opportunities to do cool stuff like that, and you want to see our videos early, ad-free, download them and see other creators on Nebula, because all of your favorite creators and your next few favorite creators are on Nebula right now. Like there's something for everybody. And a yearly subscription to Nebula is $60 for a whole year. That is $5 a month. But if you go to go.nebula.tv/thenandocut, or the link in the description, or you use the QR code, you can get a year of Nebula for just $30. That is $2.50 a month. It is an incredible deal. Again, that is go.nebula.tv/thenandocut.